Okay, so we have a new episode of Legends and Leaders, and today it's great to have Malty here. You're somebody who's built a really interesting application use of AI for real estate and realtors. You've enabled them to spin up really great new listings and sites very quickly with artificial intelligence that have lots of good insights in them built from the beginning, and then just look amazing. I mean, I was just going through your website; it's amazing what you can do with AI today, and there's a lot of real value here. And you've been able to generate quite a lot in revenue helping real estate agents out with a great use case in AI. And I'm sure this is increasing their revenue opportunities as well. So I'm excited to have you here and to get into your story.
Yeah. Hey, Ben. It's great to be here.
Awesome. So just kind of going back to like your interest in entrepreneurship and your foundation there, like what made you want to be an entrepreneur? Because this is not your first company. When did you decide you want to go on this path, and how did you enter into the world of entrepreneurship?
I grew up back in Germany and as a kid wanted to be a basketball player. I watched Dirk Nowitzki play in the NBA and had the dream of coming to the US to play basketball and had the opportunity to come here on a basketball scholarship to Pepperdine University. And then in my junior year, got injured, needed knee surgery. And during that time, realized that I was not going to make the NBA and I needed my next passion and a way to stay in the US. And for me, that was entrepreneurship. So I started my first company right after college. It was a dating app that failed pretty quickly and started another company in the nonprofit space called Giver. And then finally started Luxury Presence in 2016. And today the company has grown to over 600 team members, 15,000 customers. And we've built a lot of really awesome technology. And much of it now is AI powered, as you mentioned. So yeah, it's been pretty incredible to build a company and be a part of something that has grown so much since I've been through the failures before. And now I get to see what it looks like when you're scaling successfully.
What made you not want to quit when you were struggling earlier on? Like, why did you keep going?
I always had grit. I think it's from my background as an athlete. You just learn that setbacks, losses, injuries are part of becoming a great athlete and part of the journey. And I've taken the same approach as an entrepreneur and the same mindset. So I tend to not think of roadblocks too much and worry about them too much. I just keep going, and so I just have a lot of determination and a lot of grit. And when I set my mind to something, I generally follow through and find a way to make it happen.
Mhm. So you switched from dating to real estate. Like, how did you do that switch?
Well, the dating app, I'll tell you really quickly because it's funny. So I was very green, very naive. First business, I had no idea how to build a marketplace business. I had no idea how to build a tech business, period. So everything was a learning experience. I worked with a friend of mine who was a developer back in Germany. We called it Heartbroker. And the idea was that we would incentivize people to set up their friends on dates. I still think the idea has some merit, just the execution was so flawed and we were so green. So yeah, that was the starting point. And what it gave me was just a taste of what it's like to build a product from scratch and to take an idea and make it real, and to work with a small team that's very energized and motivated. And that's still something that I love about the startup realm.
So what landed you on this idea of like AI and creating new websites with it for real estate agents and just getting them to make listings quicker? Like, what made you land on that? Like, what was the inspiration behind the idea, and how did you go and build it? Because it seems like something that requires quite a team.
2015, I was looking for my next business to start. And I knew a real estate agent here in Beverly Hills who is one of the biggest in the US. Her name is Jade Mills, and I played basketball with her son at Pepperdine. So that's how I knew her. And she was gracious enough to let me come and work with her and see what her business looked like from the inside. So I went to listing appointments with her. I was very curious about the industry and just asked a lot of dumb questions to learn as much as possible. And that's when I had the aha moment. She was one of the top agents in the world, and yet the technology she had access to was not very good. And so I felt like if the number one agent in the world needs this much help with tech, and certainly the other 1.6 million agents in the US do as well. And that turned out to be true. It was a very fragmented market with a lot of kind of clunky, outdated tech solutions. And there was a real opportunity to build something that was much more usable, much more well built for the needs of agents, much more focused and well designed. And so that's when I decided to build a company in the space.
How did you build it though?
So the first version was built by a developer I hired as a contractor. We worked together on it. Very hacky. We did not have any venture funding at the time. This was, first 2 years of the business, we bootstrapped it. And I actually sold the first 5 clients before we ever had a product. So I went and met with these big real estate agents, and I had designed these beautiful homepages for them. And I showed them the designs and showed them what it would look like, had them pay a setup fee. And then we went and actually built the product. And that worked out. The website product became our first very successful product back then, and still is. And for the first 2.5 years, we bootstrapped the company. So every month I had to figure out how to make payroll and if I could hire another person. And when growth started to take off, that became really challenging. And then in 2018, we raised our first round of venture funding and really started building out the team and the infrastructure and the real company.
Were those meetings set up by that lady you mentioned earlier, that relationship you had?
Yes, she definitely helped with a lot of the early introductions to other agents, and I traveled around the country to meet with them. I still remember my first meeting in New York in a suit, walking into the Douglas Elliman office to meet with one of their biggest agents. And I was this 26-year-old kid. I didn't know much about luxury real estate, but these early customers are still with us today. And they were gracious enough to give me their time back then. And over time, I've become friends and longtime clients. So it's been really rewarding to work with them and to build products that they find really useful. So useful, in fact, that they still remain clients almost 10 years later.
Wow. When you think about just like the value add to them at that point in time, I mean, now you have so much more you offer. What was the value add? It was just quickly spinning up new pages. Like, how did you communicate that value to them?
In the beginning, it was to give them a very beautiful, well-branded, high-end online presence, starting with their website. Today, that value prop has grown tremendously. So now we help them not just with websites, but with marketing and lead generation and lead nurturing. And we have AI that can communicate with the leads you're getting and qualify them. And we have a mobile app that they can white label. So our customers are actually launching their own apps on the App Store and are using those apps to collaborate with their clients. So if they're working with a buyer, they can share listings with them. They can get feedback. They can comment back and forth. They can share vendor recommendations. And we have our AI marketing specialists, which we're really excited about. This is our newest product that we just released a few weeks ago. And it's the first autonomous AI marketing team for real estate. So you can think of it as having access to a full marketing team consisting of an SEO specialist, a paid media specialist, a blog writer, and a lead nurture specialist who work on your behalf 24/7, who get to know your brand and your personal preferences, who learn over time and improve constantly. And you can get them at a fraction of what it would cost to hire an agency to do this with human labor. And we've built this, and now it's live for hundreds of clients already. And so far in the first few weeks, these AI marketing specialists have already completed over 10,000 tasks on behalf of our customers without our customers having to do anything. So we've moved into this new world of AI and are trying to really lead the way within real estate when it comes to how you can use AI to make your business more efficient.
So would you say, Malty, you were an AI company I think you said 2015 you started this? Were you an AI company then? Or you became an AI company
We were
later?
not. Yeah, we became an AI company over the last 3 years.
So really, so most of your developments now are AI focused.
Yes, we are. In terms of new product development, everything we work on has an AI component. And most of the products we're building are AI first, AI native products.
Mhm. So what went into like just the scale of this? Like you got a meeting, you got five different meetings you had overall that were set up, but I mean there's only so many meetings you can do, right? Like how did you go and get a lot more traction? Was it like an ad strategy? Was it just a network effect of, hey, a referral, word of mouth kind of, I like this site, you should do something like this too. Like what really led to the scale that you have today? Because you got really amazing scale and consistency behind this.
We had a lot of word of mouth in the early days because our customers were very happy with the sites we were building. There was also the benefit that when you launch a website, it's visible to everyone else in the market. And so a lot of times we would get people asking our clients, hey, who did your website? It looks so great. And so we'd get a lot of referral traffic and word of mouth that way. And then over time, I hired a small sales team. They learned how to go out and actually do outbound sales and call into agents in the cities where we had some clients already. That gave us some social proof. And so we were able to bring on more and more agents that way. And then over time, we built a brand. And now a lot of our business is inbound from the content we put out. We do a podcast, we do webinars, we do email marketing, obviously SEO and paid media. So a lot of the business now is inbound, but we still have a team of over 70 salespeople in Austin who are calling into real estate agents in the US and Canada all day. So it's a combination of the two now.
Have you found the sales team is the biggest like aspect of this for getting new leads?
The sales team is critical for it. Yes, because real estate agents are pretty inundated with information. Everyone is contacting them all the time, different vendors, their clients, right? Their contact information is out there. And so there's a lot of noise that you have to break through. And the best way to do that is with a really great salesperson that can quickly articulate how you can help the real estate professional and get their attention. So yeah, we've gotten really good at doing that, and now I do it at a larger scale than most of our competitors.
Nice. So I would love to just talk a bit about like the venture side of things, Malty. Like you guys have raised a good amount of capital, but it's not just about the capital. You've brought in some incredible, partners in this. Like one person, Spencer Raskoff, who was a guest on our podcast. I mean, there's really nobody better. He understood digitization of real estate very early on with Zillow. And you've got other funds behind you too, like Bessemer, that has a great understanding of technology as well. Can you talk a bit about like your approach to venture funding, like how you've recruited people like this, or maybe they've come to you, and how you build out your rounds?
Yeah. So going back to 2018, when I decided to raise venture funding, I did a lot of soul searching to decide whether this was a venture scale business,
Hmm.
because I needed to have conviction myself that this could be a $10+ billion business. And if you don't have conviction that that's true, you're going to have a tough time convincing VCs to give you money because they're looking for that story and for a realistic path, which means that the market has to be big enough. You have to have a credible wedge into the market and then a way to expand it over time. And I found that all of those things were the case. The market is massive. Real estate agents make over 70 billion in commissions every year. So there is a enormous market size. It was very fragmented. So there was a clear reason why we could actually come in and consolidate a lot of these products that were out there and build a better solution that was easier to use and build a really large business that way. And we had a good wedge, which was the websites. They were selling, we were growing very fast. We were starting to have a brand in the market. So those were all big positives.
Mhm.
And if I can give one piece of advice that I have just learned over time when working with VCs for the newer founders out there, VCs really appreciate when you understand the risks in your business and you're honest about them. So now my conversations with new investors, I usually start them by talking about all of the challenges in the business, all of the risks. I already know what they're going to say. We're going to talk about market size. We're going to talk about the fact that real estate has high structural churn and lots of real estate agents go out of business. And I just address those things first and head on. And people really appreciate when you understand your business to that extent and when you're honest and open about the things that you are still working on or still figuring out. So that would be my one piece of advice for newer founders. If you can do that in your conversations, you're going to build a lot of trust with VCs much more quickly.
There's definitely a balance. Like you have to be open, but you don't want to turn people away, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. You want to be optimistic, but you want to show that you have thought about the risks in the business more than anyone else.
Yeah. Makes sense. So what was your first big venture raise, and what did you determine what to do with that essentially after? What was the biggest priority? Was it hiring? Was it building out the sales team? How did you figure out what to do with each raise?
The first round was a small seed round by today's standards. It was 2.3 million. The Series A was 5.9. Series B was 26. And then we raised another 20 or so in an extension. So we've raised over 50 million to date. And hiring was always a big part. Continuing to scale out the sales team was always a good chunk of the investment. And then a lot of it went into product and R&D. And especially now in the most recent rounds, a lot of the funding has gone into building out an engineering team of over 100 people and bringing on the technical talent, the AI talent to actually be able to execute on what we want this platform to be able to do in the future. And so we have invested a lot in our AI focused talent within the company. And that will continue to be a big area of focus. Yeah.
So what is besides AI development, what is the current focus right now? Just in getting more customers, what is kind of the best way to go about that? And is it just showing them the AI features that you have, besides just developing new features? You have to keep getting more traction. What's kind of been your approach today in terms of I think explaining the value of the company essentially is what I'd say.
We still are heavily focused on product development, and because we're always launching new products, we have opportunities to do big product launches. Like a year and a half ago, we launched Presence Copilot, which was our first AI product, and we had a wait list of over 17,000. We did this virtual announcement that people could tune into, sort of Apple keynote style. And that worked really, really well to get a lot of demand for that product before it was even live. And with our most recent launch, the AI marketing specialists, we got a ton of press because it was so novel. It was really the first time that anyone has launched agentic AI for real estate marketing in this way, an AI that can work fully autonomously. And so as we're building more and more products, a lot of our marketing is centered around telling the story of how this product fits into our broader suite of solutions and how it solves a problem that real estate professionals have in a way that is 5 times, 10 times better than what exists out there, because that's really what you need to get their attention. And the benefit we have now is that we have 15,000 customers representing over 65,000 individual real estate professionals. So a lot of our customers are teams and brokerages. And because we have this massive customer base, we can take new products and sell them into our existing customers. And we already have trust established with them. We already talk to them regularly. And so that becomes a really great sales channel over time to just expand the amount of money they spend with us. So a lot of our new revenue now comes not just from net new customers, but rather from the existing customers who are expanding the number of products they're using with us.
Are you are you building a lot of what they tell you? I'm sure you're getting incredible feedback. You've got all these customers, they're using it. This is something they're using every day, all the time. There's got to be amazing feedback. Are most of the products you develop now, are they from customer feedback?
The short answer is yes. We talk to our customers a lot, and we get their feedback mostly to understand the problems and the pain points really thoroughly, not usually to take their solutions as is, because especially now with AI, the solutions that you can come up with, most people can't quite conceptualize yet. And if you jump too quickly to a proposed solution, you might miss the opportunity to really innovate and do something much better and more groundbreaking. And so I would say customer feedback to understand a problem, to really understand a pain point, ideally watch how they do things today, look over their shoulder to really walk in their shoes, but then take a step back and devise your own solution, prototype it, and then put that solution back in front of the customer to get their feedback, rather than just asking them, what do you want us to build?
No, that makes sense. I mean, there's also so many changes from a technology standpoint they may not be aware of, and you are. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely the
But
right.
what I will say though is real estate agents are incredibly entrepreneurial,
Yeah,
and a lot of them tinker with technology. They love it. And it's one of the things I love about this industry. With so many early adopters, they're just hungry for trying out new tools. Some of them built their own tools, and it's cool to work with those folks. So I have a number of those types of agents that I talk to very regularly because they have great insights into what they're seeing, and sometimes they even build their own little solutions, and they always love being early adopters of our tech.
that's awesome. How do you stay on top of real estate in general? You weren't ever an agent, to my knowledge, beforehand, or a broker. How have you learned all about the real estate industry, and how do you keep on top of it, daily, so you're on the cutting edge of the space from a technology development standpoint?
So my wife is a real estate agent,
Okay.
which means I stay on top of it daily during work hours and over dinner and on the weekends, because all we talk about in our house is real estate pretty much. And she's early in her career, so she gives me a lot of feedback on our product. She uses all of them. I get bug reports over the dinner table, which is fun. And I help her from my tech perspective. So I spend a lot of time really understanding and talking to customers, whether it's my wife or other customers, to make sure that I don't lose sight of this most important thing, which is, are we solving real problems for real people in a way that delivers a lot of value? I think if you do that, then everything else falls into place. And the larger you get, the more tempting it is to remove yourself as an exec from the front lines and not to talk to customers as much anymore. And I try not to do that. I'm pretty intentional about staying close to it so that I really understand what they're dealing with and what their challenges are. So I would say all of my best information is firsthand from real estate agents. And then I read up on, news and different blogs and so forth. But a lot of it is really spending the time with customers.
Yeah, I mean, to have your partner be somebody who's in this industry, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's a great source. There's nothing
Yeah.
better than that. Yeah. So what's kind of next for luxury presence? I mean, what does the roadmap look like now? Do you have like a long-term plan in mind of like a 5 to 10 year plan? What are some new developments people can get excited about, Malty?
Yes, we are building the AI platform for residential real estate with an initial focus on marketing and client communication. But over time, real estate agents and real estate business owners will be able to run their entire business on the Luxury Presence platform
Mm.
and use all of our AI products to make their day-to-day easier, to make them more efficient, and to deliver much better consumer experiences. Because that part of the transaction and the experience a lot of times is still pretty broken and pretty fragmented. And our vision is that if you can give the right tools to the real estate professionals, they can then deliver a really great, cohesive, delightful experience to consumers. And that's how we're going to build a very large public company one day.
Well, Malty, that was all the questions that I had. I appreciate you taking the time and doing this. I think it's amazing that you started something earlier on, didn't necessarily have the success there, kept at it, and now you've built up something that is really at the cutting edge of this space and pushing forward a lot of interesting and exciting developments that I don't think anyone else would have thought of. So I'm just excited to see where you'll take luxury presence next. And thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me on, Ben. This was a blast. I appreciate it.